So, how many newborn children, how many infants have you gone to meet and see? And they came out and said, you know, when I get a job, and a car, and a house, then I'll be happy. I haven't seen one yet, maybe you have. Children are born with their true nature, it's happiness. They're joyful. Who teaches puppies to play and be happy? Who teaches birds to sing with joy and delight? I think it's our nature to be happy. True well-being is in our own nature. But we haven't been trained, apparently, to acclimate our true nature, to actualize it, to bring it out. So I've developed a program that I've used, and many other people have used similar programs to claim their own happiness, to live from a place of happiness and well-being. So just making this video to kind of outline, to go over some of the points of the practice, if you want to call it a practice. It's a practice to be what we naturally already are. It's a practice to bring out the qualities of well-being and happiness. Because when we're happy, we're much more productive in the world. It's much more of a helpful and productive and supportive member of our family and the world around us. So there's 7 of these kind of points or parts of the practice. And I'm going to suggest, if you're interested in this, consider investing about 9 minutes a day, roughly 9 minutes a day. Could be a little more, a little less, however you're inclined to do it. But if you're willing to invest a minimum of about 9 minutes a day, could be less, over a period of 3 weeks, you'll start to see a significant difference in how you feel about life and the world around you, and especially about yourself. So the first part of the practice, I think the really essential thing is the practice of gratitude. Now sometimes we're grateful for things, sometimes we tend to complain about things, and some people are much more oriented towards complaining and moaning and listing out all the things that don't suit them. I think the reason to understand about this is that the mind is kind of negatively biased. The conscious thinking mind tends to be negatively biased. The mind is always sort of looking out for things that are frightening or dangerous. So the mind's movements are often generated out of a basis of fear. So the practice of gratitude is to bring that into balance. And what I'm suggesting in this process is to express gratitude a minimum 3 times a day, preferably throughout the day. Don't just sit at one point and do this, but throughout the day, minimum of 3 times, morning, noon, afternoon, evening, whatever you feel. Expressing gratitude can be an internal process, it can be a verbal process, it can be a written process, however you like to give expression, something you're grateful for. You can always find something to be grateful for. Look around here, and green, the color green is so vibrant, it's so rich, it's so soothing. Be grateful for color. Grateful for the sky, the clouds, the sun. Be grateful for friendship. I really express the gratitude. So the purpose of these 7 steps, you could say, is to align and integrate the head, heart, and hand, thought, word, and deed, to bring them into alignment and integration. So gratitude is the fundamental practice, at minimum 3 times a day. And the second part of the gratitude expression, or the second step in this process, is to journal about something that you really appreciate. I'm suggesting you handwrite it. Now, I'm an older generation. For the newer generation, maybe keyboarding is great. But for me, I like to handwrite once a day, just something I really appreciate. And it can be a very simple thing, but really, as you're writing, so you're involving your body, you're involving this instrument, this wonderful instrument of the activities of the body. So you want to align head, heart, and hand. So writing something you really appreciate. And this can often, if you'd like to take this a little step further, write a letter, an email to someone that's in your life, a friend, a family member. Just write a note, a quick email, a Facebook message saying, you know, I was thinking of you. I just really appreciate your friendship. I just really appreciate having you in my life. I really appreciate how kind you are. It can be short. It doesn't take a lot of time to do this. It's a matter of resetting defaults in how we navigate life and how we go about our life. And the third part of this that I'm offering is called Yoga Namaskar. Yoga Namaskar is a very simple practice. You hold all the fingers and hands, thumbs like this together. All the members come together and just physically touch the heart area with your thumb. Now this sets up a whole network of energetic movement in your system that brings everything into balance and references your energy back to the heart area. The heart is a place of acceptance. The heart is a place of integration. The heart is a place of emotion, gratitude, and eventually devotion or love. So when you do this, and just stand and look at something, if you'd like to look, if you need a visual stimulus, look at something you really appreciate and bring forward in your emotional being, in your feeling nature, bring forward as fully as you can your appreciation, your gratitude, your love for that which you're seeing. Now I like to come out on the patio here in the morning and I just hold namaskar like this, first thing in the morning. I look around at all the beautiful surroundings, the green and the sky and the early morning sound of the birds. And it's just so easy for me just to be absorbed in loving appreciation for this magnificent world that we live in. There's just this fabulous vibratory quality of life that's living through all of us. So you just do that. 3 minutes is good. If you like to do a little more, if you have to do a little less, at least if you do a little bit, within 3 weeks, these practices will start to activate something in your system. Now, this also needs to be integrated or activated into your expression of how you live your life. That is done through a random act of kindness. Minimum, once a day, do some random act of kindness. And there's always an opportunity to practice kindness. A few days ago, a lady told me that her cockatiels love fruit wood, like apple, pear. And so the next morning, it took me like 2 minutes. I was at one of my friend's house, and a piece of his crabapple tree was extending over the fence. I just cut it off. I went by my other friend's house, dropped off the piece of crabapple, and she was so happy that, and her cockatiels were just delighted to have this piece of fruit wood to chew on. That's what cockatiels do. I made no money on it. I wasn't even interested in. I mean, of course, I'm interested in the friendship, but I had no motivation other than just to perform an act of kindness. It's a random act of kindness. And what I'm suggesting is minimum 1 time a day. And the more you do random act of kindness, it'll become addictive, and you'll want to do it even more. Now, another important part of this routine or practice is to make sure that you take care of your body and your mind. Now, body care, if you just put a little emphasis on body care every day, it might mean getting a little more rest if that's what you need. It might mean getting a massage. It might mean making sure that you're improving your diet a little bit. Your diet will tend to either become worse or better because we're so inundated with advertisements that for foods that don't really support our health and well-being. So a little bit of attention to the body care and a little bit of attention to the mind. Now, in terms of the mind, management of the mind, I suggest bits of meditation. If you do meditation already, great, then keep your meditation going. If you don't have any meditation practice and you don't like to do meditation or drawn to meditation, I'm going to suggest you just do a little bit of it. A minute or so, a few times during the day. It can be as simple as occasionally just bring your attention to your breathing and just be aware of your breathing. Just take your attention away from any outside movement and come back to your breathing. Now, here's a little technique that I use and teach is to bring your attention to the feeling of your body sitting on the chair. If you're outside, like I do this also when I'm outside walking. So I just bring my attention to the sensation of my body walking on the ground. I feel my feet, I feel my body on the ground, while at the same time noticing my breath. So attention is brought to the body and its movement and to the breath. Now, if you'd like to go a little deeper, have your attention on these two things and include hearing. Just let your attention include hearing. So you get 3 points of attention here. Hearing, your breath, and the sensation of your body sitting or the sensation of your body walking. And that will bring the kind of silence in the mind and an absorption of what's here and now, this present existence that I'm being and then moving through. So there's a kind of meditative quality to that. So I'm going to suggest you do that a few times throughout the day as a support for your mental well-being. Now there's one last part of this, these 7 steps, which I've got a little outline on, a brief outline, which you can print on like a business card thing, just a small piece of paper, keep it in your wallet or post it on your fridge or at your desk, on your desk at work. Just a little reminder of these 7 points. And the 7th of these points is the last thing before you go to bed at night. Find someone living in your home, go to that person and say, I love you. Just say these words to a living person. The last thing before you go to bed. Now, sometimes you may be alone, nobody there. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and be in love with yourself. Be in love with your body. Be in love with the presence of your own existence. And just look in the mirror. And as well as you can from your heart and with feeling, say, I love you. You can also call someone, call your child, call your parent, call your friend. Just say, I just called to say I love you. Then go to bed and sleep well. These 7 points, what I suggest is, if you're drawn to this, if you're interested, if happiness and well-being is something that you think is a good idea, happiness courses are actually being taught at the Ivy League schools now. The first course was taught at Harvard, I don't remember the year, but they opened this course at Harvard University, and it was the class that most people wanted to enroll in the whole school. And it's been quite effective there. I've taken some of that material and adapted it to more of a yoga perspective, broadened it a little bit, added some things to it, adapted it to what works for me, and offering it to you. So if you commit to this for 21 days, if you're not drawn to all 7 parts, practice whatever you're drawn to. Commit to it, if you will, 21 days. And at the end of 21 days, just take a look and see, has it made a difference in your life? Do you feel more well-being? Are you more happy and productive in your life? If so, then just commit to another 21 days. So if you do it over a period of 42 days, it will change the chemistry in your brain. It will change the way you function in the world. It will change the way you interpret the world. You'll be setting your defaults to whatever degree. Your defaults now are about complaining and being fearful. It will change those defaults to well-being and happiness to some degree, more or less. If you do this for 42 days, especially if you do all 7 parts 42 days, something will permanently shift in you, and you will find that you can't go back. Then these will become habitual, because a lot of our life we live habitually. We just establish these defaults of how we encounter life, how we interpret life, and how we live life. But a lot of them are unconscious, and a lot of them are just adaptations of the culture around us, the collective thought structures. So if you've made the shift after 42 days, and you feel the significance of it, then you're qualified to teach it. You're qualified to offer it to anyone else. This is given by me completely free of charge, and you can then give it to anyone who you would like to help along the way, completely free of charge, no money involved. It's always an offering of compassion, of connectedness, and it seems like that's a good idea for the world today, at least to me. So my gratitude to you for listening to this thing, my love and my blessings to you, and my wish is that you establish yourself in happiness and well-being for yourself, for the world, forever.